Hello, everyone. This is DJ Incendration, and today I am joined here by.
King of Johnny Boy.
And this. Tonight we are going over my latest Super Mario Bros. Human Theory TAS. I did 1 1 through 4 1. King of Johnny Boy helped me through 4 2. You're going to see some crazy stuff there. Um, so, is there anything you want to say before we get started?
Not really. Yeah, let's just get right into it.
All right, let's do this.
Speech FU.
So, three,
Speech mode
two,
off.
1, let's go. Okay, so 1 1.
Perfect underground.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it there for a sec. So, yeah, perfect underground. And if you notice there, I am doing it. I did this level, aside from that, the same as Cosmic's 455646. This was just my choice. I wanted to, see if I could, do what he does. But let's get back into it.
Speech config.
Okay, there we go.
Speech mode off.
Classic sock folder.
Standard sock folder affair.
Yep, classic sock folder. Okay. Okay, so there we did 1-2G. The RTA strat for 1-2. That basically involves clipping into the end of level pipe, and then running to the right, and then turning around for warp zone. Did I explain it right?
Oh, sorry about that. Pardon? Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry about that
so
one.
that was 1-2G. Right, or is it a later version?
Nope. Yep, that's still the original 1-2G that has been done in runs since 2018.
Yeah. Basically, that involves a clip into the end of level pipe. End of level pipe meaning the pipe that you would use to move on to 1-3. And then from there you do a jump out of the wall. Move to the right. And
Then a
then
frame perfect jump back.
yeah.
And then that helps you gain speed faster on the way back into the World 4 pipe.
Now, just to make sure, is that the fastest way to get to 4-1 without left plus right?
No. So, what you can do is basically you do right releases while inside of the wall, right when you clip in, and basically that gives you a very low X position. And
Like,
that lets you do the TAS strat for the turnaround where you stop on the World 3 pipe. But I don't think anyone's ever pulled that off full level.
right, I want to, do a no left plus right TAS at some point that goes for, pure speed.
Yeah,
Like
just like raw efficiency.
what was that?
Raw efficiency.
I've never heard that term before. What does it mean?
So efficiency is just
I mean,
like
I get efficiency, but raw efficiency?
so like even though you complete the level at the same time, it's still technically getting to the end faster.
Right. So, there's an ultimate 454 032 test that gets to the end of levels on the first possible frame, even pixels sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to do the same thing, but for no left plus right.
Yeah, you can do some really cool stuff with that. It is pretty like weird though, just figuring out what frame
I
would.
already know. I already know that top clip is what we would do for 4-2, but no one's done that full level.
Well, I mean, people have gotten the clip, but no one saved the
Full
frame
level
rule
though.
with it. From the start of the level, people have gotten the clip, but not the frame rule with it.
Do you think people will ever save the frame rule with that?
Um, few enthusiasts in the community who are really good at it. So it'll probably be done at some point. Although I think for runs, over time, it's become less and less viable.
Yeah, because of the strat that you're going to see in this task, right?
Yep. Yeah, this new strat makes it a lot easier for runs.
Okay, let's go to 4-1.
Standard sock folder with slow PG.
Yeah, so slow PG, for those who don't know, is sometimes when you do FPG, flagpole glitch, which is still very, very precise and, frame perfect things happen in it. With some values, you can actually press a frame later than. So traditionally, you would do left, 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 and then left and A at the same time, and then release left. However, with some values, you can do left, 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 and then A on the next frame, and that's slow PG.
Depending on the value, sometimes you can even do it a frame after that, but that loses the 4-1 frame rule.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, so I've actually had runs where I get 4-1 FPD, but I jumped 2 frames late, and I ended up losing 4-1 frame rule.
That must really stink.
Yeah, I was getting a ton of slow PGs that day, and I just ended up doing it like a frame later than even that, and it worked.
Slow PG. Or
Yeah,
like
ultra slow.
ultra slow PG or USPG.
Yeah. So that loses an extra frame over slow PG, which already loses a frame, but it still makes the frame rule.
Slow PG does.
Yeah.
Not USPG.
Yep. Yeah, that's way too slow. You end up with R20.
R20, for those who don't know, like if you're not part of the community and stuff but are, watching this run, we will do a full in-depth thing a little later.
Yeah, sort of talking about frame rules and how they work and how they impact the RNG in this run.
Yeah.
That is basically manipulated.
Yeah, basically. So 4-2. I'm going to pretend that I'm watching this for the first time.
Okay. Right. So what
Wait.
you have to do here is
Wait, no,
before-
actually, I wanted to go through it full level.
Yeah, sure.
So let me back up a bit.
No problem.
Actually, I'll have to, restart. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay. Here we go.
So basically, while you're running on the ground here,
Actually, can we save that for the in depth?
sure.
Whoa, what? 11 pixels? What? Okay, if I were a first time watcher, my mind would be just totally blown.
Yeah. So you have like a bunch of super technical things going on there.
Yeah, but
Where
it's
basically
the
you're
easiest.
manipulating.
Yeah, but it's the easiest way to save the Lightning 4-2 frame rule for runs.
Yeah, like consistency wise, it's still
Yeah.
the easiest way.
Hopefully, someone, somehow figures out an even easier way, but I doubt that's gonna happen at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's like it's maxed out frame wise. Like, there's no more frames to save in Underground without fast excels.
I'm saying not for frames. I mean, not for frames. I'm saying like for
Oh, getting into the
Getting-
underground or getting into the warp zone section.
I'm saying just like an easier setup to get, into the warp zone section with enough time to, save the frame rules still, still without fast excels, but also more consistent than this.
Yeah, that is pretty unlikely at this point.
Yeah, probably.
The top clip setups that we have, I don't think that they're there yet. And I don't see them getting there anytime soon.
Okay. But
Outside of outside of a few specific individuals who happen to be really good at it.
like, who are they? I don't know.
Tool,
Who?
Tool, for example, is very good at top clip. Shadow Phoenix / what is his Drewski. So Shadow Phoenix / Drewski is also really good at it. And there's someone I'm forgetting, but basically only 3 people are really good at top clip.
Is it like Arias? Um. I pardon me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Anyway, let's just move on to 8-1. Plate 1.
Perfect fast excel. And then top step FPG.
Yep. TAS 8-2 time.
Yep, double frame perfect jump. for the gland. And that Cooper box is actually a 2-frame window only.
It is required though, right?
Yeah, for this setup, it's required. So it's like you have to do a mandatory 2-frame jump there.
Okay.
So like even top level runners have messed that up on TAS.
Oof.
Yeah, I think at least 2 of GTAce's 454s into 8.2, at least his first 2 missed it.
Has anyone...
Yeah, because it's like a 2-frame window, so it's still like super tight.
Yeah. Kriller setup.
Yep.
Okay.
And now we get to 8.4 with a bajillion fast accels.
Right. And an insanely hard first room.
Yeah. 3 people have done it.
Yeah.
So for reference, the same amount of people who have gotten 8B first room have gotten top clip.
Wow. It's...
More people have gotten top clip, but only 3 people are consistent at top clip.
I hope that one day people do this full level. What you're about to see here. Are you ready?
Yep.
We're going to cover this a little more in depth later. But I actually did a different 8B setup than a lot of other people have been doing it. Did you notice?
Yeah. So you did the setup that it was originally done by Hitscrits.
Wait,
well,
I did?
Well,
Actually, wasn't...
the first time
This-
he got the fast excel, not the first time he got it full room. But the first time he got the excel was with the triple fast excel. But for full room, he did the FFA.
Right, and that's what they do full room most of the time. But it is possible with TFA.
Fast excel, yeah.
Just extremely hard.
Yep.
Wall jump room.
Gotta do another FFA. Get on the very leftmost there and
Yeah, and then...
clean wall jump room.
Yeah, it's... that one took me a while to TAS.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Especially for a blind person like me. So did this room. 63.
Yeah. The amount of frame perfect inputs required for 63 is just like ridiculous.
Optimal water.
And last one.
Alright. So, should we do Q&A now or in-depth first?
In-depth first.
Okay. So,
And, I mean, in the in-depth part, we can kind of answer some questions that people might have.
maybe. For this, this in-depth part is going to be actually really in-depth. It's going to talk about how sock folder works and cover a lot of things that someone who, like, the amount in depth that we go should answer any question that future blind TASers, if there are any more after me, like, a blind TASer should be able to, make their own TAS with the information that we covered today
Sure.
in the in-depth section.
Sure.
Do you think you can do that?
Yeah. I'll definitely try.
It'll take
My
both of us, I
description
think.
isn't, my description isn't top tier, but I think I can describe pretty well.
Thanks. You did it well enough for me to make it, so I'm sure you can, do it again
Thanks.
for others.
Thanks.
So if you notice here, we wait a little while on the title screen. So what I do for that is I wait until I search for the first frame that I can press start. And then for this, I wait 84 frames, or 4 frame rules. Oh, before we continue, a frame rule, if you're part of the community, you know what a frame rule is, most likely, but if you're new to this, frame rules are best explained with an analogy that former world record holder Darbian used, which is the bus analogy. Okay? So imagine that there is a bus that runs on a super tight schedule. And if you... I'm not exactly sure how to explain it. Can you help me out here?
So basically what it is every 21 frames, that's when the game checks for completion. So if you arrive there before the end of those 21 frames, you can just barely catch it, or you can save another 20 frames and you'll be within that same frame rule.
And you'll catch that bus.
Right, so it's like if you show up early for the bus, you have to wait 15 minutes before you can get on. But if you arrive just in time for the bus, you can get on right away. If you just barely miss the bus, you have to wait another 15 minutes or 21 frames in order to get on the next bus, which ends up being 0.35 seconds.
0.35 seconds slower. So, you wait 4 frame rules, and this is to set up RNG in 8.2, which we will talk about a little later when we get there. Now, in 1.1, there is an enemy in a certain part of the music. So I'm going to make a save state here. And then if you were to just hold right the whole time, you would just die. So there are a few ways you can go about this, but my TAS does basically this. Basically that. So there's memorizing where in the music you should be when you get to the pipe. If you're blind, that's going to be extremely important. That is how I memorize how to do underground.
I mean, you've even gotten 1-1 FPG with the frame row full level.
Yeah. But I haven't gotten it at all since then because this keyboard is not very good. Let's say the
Yep.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like I can't do one framers on this keyboard. It just doesn't allow it.
Yeah.
Or even two framers
Oh, so you end up with 3 framers?
at least.
Yeah, I used to have a keyboard that would do that. It was like 2.5 framers.
3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, man.
I wish there was a way to fix it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't really change the way that a keyboard does that.
Oh well. So, back to this task. So, basically, in the underground section, you want to wait until... I'm going to make another state here. That is where you want to start hitting right. Right here. The frame before the second A plays. Like the higher up, like the higher octave, you know? So, da 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 da. You want to go just before that. I'm really not good at those jumps. Like, I can't go a whole octave up and, still sing in tune. And down an octave plus a step and a half. Yeah, I'm a music major. I have a good musical background.
That probably helps a lot with tassing blind, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And speedrunning blind in general.
Right, if you have like a good sense of rhythm.
Yeah. So, and you want to listen for the last frame of the second B flat, like the higher of the two. And you want to jump for 10 frames. So there. So you collect the first coin, second, third, and then like 5 frames into that fourth coin, you'll want to mess around with it, but jump. Can you tell how many frames that was?
No, I cannot.
So do you see the inputs?
Yep, I do now. You're not jumping yet, though.
Okay, so you see I'm holding A, right?
Yep.
And now?
Still holding it, so that's 2 frames. 3 frames. 4 frames. And then letting go on the 5th.
So you want to do a
4
4-framer. There may
You
be ways for
can-
you to, do other jumps, but that's just, what I found while tassing. So,
Yeah, if you jump a frame later, you can do a 3-framer.
yeah.
And then a frame after that, you can do a 2-framer.
Okay. So somewhere. So with that 4-framer, am I pressing left yet?
Nope. Keep going.
How about now?
Go another frame. Another one. Now you're pressing left.
Okay, so you want to press left on the first frame of the last coin sound that you hear, and this is to that is because it speeds up getting to the going down the pipe by a
Right.
little.
Otherwise, you run into the pipe, and you come to a full stop before entering it, which is slower.
Yeah. So for now, now that you're out of the pipe, you want to where you jump for this part doesn't matter. And then I found it's easiest if you do. Here's what the rhythm should sound like, and I'm going to do this on my keyboard. And I may mess up a little bit, but it'll sound something like this. Did you hear that?
I could only hear the first key press.
Maybe if I did it on my controller or something.
Yeah.
Give me one moment.
And hold it up to the microphone, maybe.
Let's see. The cord is kind of tangled. It may take a few seconds for me to, get it.
Yep.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Alright, so let me know if you hear this.
I do not.
Okay, let me go into Discord's settings. If I did it a little wrong,
Speech. F. King. King.
I'm just going into Discord. Actually, let me pause the video recording.
Audio scene duration. Stop. Start. Studio setting. Exit. Audio. Mute. Settings. Settings. Set to start. Merge to setting. Audio. Mute. Proper. Mute. Mic sources. Visible. Audio. Mute. Mic source. Lock. Window. Control. Pause.
So the recording. So you guys in the recording may have heard it a few times, but you couldn't, right? At first.
Yeah, I couldn't.
But we fixed that, so. More or less. Right?
Right.
Did you hear it that time?
Yep. Heard it perfectly.
So, did it sound about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
And I'm actually going to try to follow along with this.
FU.
With my TAS.
So, what you do there...
Okay. So what you do there is you jump. You press.
King of Johnny.
You start holding A on the first, like the frame before the cymbal starts, the hi-hat sound. And you hold it. You don't want it to be a full jump, but you do want the second one to be very close to it.
Yeah, and depending on where you jump for the first of the two jumps, a full jump can work.
Right. It can. But then for this next jump, you want to release B, and then... So and then when you land, you want to hit B, and then hold it for 2 frames with right. So you've walked for a frame, and then jump on the third. So, there. And then you want to, you can release right. There's a large window and you can release right.
Yeah, especially with sock folder.
Yeah. But then... And then you want to start hitting right. Left. Right, so... 3, 4... Okay. 2 frames before the D starts. The D minor chord. So it goes left, 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 left plus A, and then nothing. Or just A.
Yeah, you can keep
You
holding
can do
A
either.
as long as you want.
Okay. So there are a few ways you can go about 1-2. The most consistent for me involves... so I'm going to... use singing and then controller taps too. Okay?
Okay.
There are a few ways that are consistent. The easiest to memorize, I think, maybe... You know?
Yeah.
So basically what I was doing there is you would jump over the first 2 enemies, and then jump again so that you don't bump into something.
Yeah, so after the enemies, there's a brick, and you don't want to run into that, so you have to jump a second time there.
Right. And then you jump a 3rd time, and there are a few places you can jump for it. One way will allow you to bop an enemy or 2, and one way will allow you to collect a bunch of coins. If you want to bop the enemies, you either jump in that one place but do a load jump, or just don't jump at all. Like, dun, 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 you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or dun, 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 dun.
Yep, got it.
Or you can do dun, 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 dun. You know,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
it's I'm those sounds. In case some of you watching this don't know, those sounds I'm trying to make are the sounds of Mario jumping, and the sounds that you hear as you go through the level, like after he jumps, like the coin sound, and then after that, um,
You should probably go up to that point.
King of the
right. So I actually use a little more complicated method to get there in this task. You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, so here, now that you have the coins or you pop the enemies, there is a hard jump. Hard, even hard for me sometimes. I don't get it 100% of the time.
Yeah, you need a pretty small. You need a
You
small
need it
jump.
like as small as you can. This is why playing on console could be good, except I don't have. Like, I do have a capture card, but I need to set up the software, and somehow the audio only comes out to one ear.
I know what you mean, and keyboards are good too if you have one that can do 1 to 2 framers. Even 3
One,
framers can work, but 1 to 2 is really like what you want for optimal leeway.
at least if you're, starting out. Once you get,
Right.
once you get to a level where you want to, start practicing 1-2G and stuff, that won't cut it anymore.
Yeah, you need
You
one
need
framer
one
every
framers
time.
for that. But we'll get to that in a little bit. I'll show you. Dun, 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 dun. Let me just show you with only controller taps. That is about as small as you want to do it. Right?
I couldn't actually hear that.
You couldn't?
No.
It was just the controller tap.
Yeah, so yeah, you basically just want to jump for as little time as possible there.
Did you hear that one?
Uh, no. Put it right up to the mic. Yep, I could hear that now.
Does that sound about right?
Yep, that's good. That's a flick jump, which is exactly what you want to do.
That's a flick.
Yep.
How many frames does that do?
So, on controller, that'd generally give you 1 frame, 1 to 2 frames, or if you flick way too fast, you can actually end up having it not register.
Wow.
Yeah, if you
I
flick
wish the
really fast.
controller that the wire I mean, do you have a recommendation for a controller I should get where I can do that and hear the sound quite well?
Uh, so for PC, I think Razer has
No,
one
no,
that
I'm saying like for console.
for console. Um, I mean, you could have Mav make you one, but generally for console, there's only really 2 controllers that people use, and that's just like the standard NES brick controller and the NES Dogbone controller.
I want to how do I get him to make me one?
Just DM him and ask about it.
And then
I don't actually know because I don't play on console.
how does he get it to me?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Okay. Sorry for,
Yeah, I really
going
don't
off topic,
have
guys.
information on it because I don't play on console, so I've never really talked to him about it.
I really want to uh move to console, and cuz that's where a lot of runners generally play on console.
Yeah, so generally console players just play on a normal NES brick controller. That is the one that most people use. I think only Darbian that I know of uses the Dogbone controller.
Okay, my NES controller, like the regular one, mine has like the buttons. Uh, they don't have that sound to them. They make almost no sound.
Yeah, that's because yeah, that's normal for the most part. Yeah, they shouldn't really make any sound
And then
for the most
also,
part.
and then also, like it's kind of hard to press them. It doesn't take like it takes a little more to press them than it does for these for this controller.
I know what you mean. Yeah, so you might have to flick harder.
Like even like to press it for longer takes a little more.
Yeah, like a little more force.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you mean. Then yeah. So depending on, I mean, that's even that can even be specific to the rubbers that you have in your specific NES controller.
I don't know how to, change those.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to. That doesn't
It
them
just
being
doesn't feel
harder.
as good as on this controller.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I used to play on like Xbox controllers.
I'm just trying to get no lag at all, like whatsoever.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And when I play on PC, uh, like even Nestopia, which is said to have one frame, the sound comes out longer than that, like later than that, I should say.
Yeah, you're never gonna get like perfect input delay on emulator. Even on CRT, there is still a little bit of delay. Sometimes you can.
Actually, I don't
Uh,
notice any delay at all on my TV.
oh, then yeah. So it's it can depend on your CRT. It depends on the TV. Some CRTs still have like an extra frame.
So back to to what we were saying. This jump you want to make as small as possible, and then after that, the next jump has a few frame window.
Yeah, depending on your original jump, there's a varying number of frames there.
Okay, so coming up, you want to jump for a certain number of frames to get ready for a pipe jump. You have only a few frames to do that, depending on when you start this one and how many frames you jump.
Yeah, depending on when you land.
Right, and these jumps are hard.
Yeah, so for playing the level perfectly with no slowdowns, if you do a full jump on the pipe jumps, you always have to do at least one frame perfect jump. At least if I remember correctly. So if you jump the first frame possible off of the first pipe, you'll have a 2-frame window on the second one. If you jump the second frame you can off the first pipe, you'll only have a 1-frame window on the second one.
Right. And the second one is just before the music starts, right?
I don't know music cues personally, so
so
you're
like-
probably better.
So this is the second one coming up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just before it starts. So there, you want to make sure your second one is small. You want it to be a small jump.
Video.
Right. It doesn't have to be that small, but you don't want to do a full jump.
No. And then coming up here, what, if you're just starting out,
recent maybe rest stop W8 rest stop.
I'm going
recent
to
play movie stop movie S. F U.
stop the movie for now. You'll want to use the elevator.
Video.
I keep messing that
you're
up, but
pressing left early, so you're not falling down.
close.
Yep, that time you went down the middle pipe.
I pressed A too late.
Press left early.
Early again.
Yep.
DJ incineration.
Okay.
There you go.
That was actually really late.
Yeah, that was pretty late.
But that is basically what you want to do. Now, to see that with minimum, like a good way to memorize it is you do the first frame of the C coming up, so there, so do a full jump there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You jump on beat 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4.
DJ
I'm going to slow it down a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. So,
recency.
yeah, that'll get you to the elevator and press left at the right time, do a jump for a certain amount of frames, and go down to World 4. But here we do something much more complicated.
Right, so you have
So
to
there
do-
we do a pipe clip. So what you have to do there, you want to do a frame perfect jump. You want to start hitting A on this frame, and you want it to be a full jump. Okay?
Right. And then you want to release B.
Release B in midair. And here you land, and you're at walking speed, so you want to
Jump on the second
Hit
frame
right.
possible.
Yeah, second frame possible. Search for the frame that you can jump if you're tassing this, or know that it's the fifth frame of the music that you want to start jumping. And you want it to be a one frame jump, which is pretty hard. For me, at least.
Yeah, so basically you'd flick with your finger as fast as you can.
Okay. So then you want to press right for exactly 8 frames. Right?
So you don't actually need to hold right all the way up to the pipe. You can let go of right pretty much anywhere
Right, like,
after you jump.
but then after that you want to start holding left. And if you held right for 8 frames, then you want to hold left for 10.
The left press, you don't actually need to hold it for a certain amount of frames. Generally, depending on your subspeed, 1 to 2 frames of left will do it and clip you in all the way.
But that's just how I learned it.
Right.
And then there you want to start holding right. On this frame. This one, I mean.
Right, and start
B.
holding B again.
And now you can jump in a lot of different places, but you want to
Type here to
search for the frame,
DJ in
like hold A for enough frames that you don't, hit the enemy when you land. And then jump for one more frame than that. You know?
Yeah. That way you jump over the middle pipe.
Yeah. And then you don't want to hit left right away. You want to hit it 2 frames before, a few frames before the G sharp starts.
Yeah, you have a few frame window to press left there.
And you still, have enough time.
Yeah, if you do it perfectly, you can save the frame rule with 6 frames to spare.
Is that what I did in my TAS?
I don't remember off the top of my head what the speed was. I think you got 4 frames to spare, if I remember correctly.
That's just what a lot of people seem to get.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard range. Generally, 4.3 to 4.6 is pretty like a standard range.
Yeah. Somewhere around there. So 4 is pretty decent.
Yeah. 4 is about average for what people would do in runs.
Yeah. And that's why I didn't know that it could be 7. But since that's what I hear most, I decided to, go with that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's 6 frames without a fast excel.
So, you want to jump for, I think it's like 11 frames.
Yeah, about
for the
that,
second to last jump.
That also gives you you also have some leeway on the jump back. The frame, but basically you want to jump the frame you land after you start pressing left, and then that jump is about 11 frames ish.
Yeah,
It can be higher than that, but
somewhere
That's
around
about
there.
it. Yeah, around there.
So for 4-1, I do a lot of swag strats in this run, such as hitting that enemy. But what you can do, you can actually jump a little later and then collect a coin, which is what I usually do. I find that to be a lot more consistent. You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then it is not required to collect any coins in this level. But okay, there. You want to jump again as the C chord plays again. So jump. Does that's
Yeah,
a
makes
good
sense.
cue, right?
Yep.
And then you want to jump. I mean, you don't need to jump right after that, but you want to make that jump on the jump. You want to do a full jump. That's just what I do, at least. And then you don't need to collect that. Is that a 1-up?
That's a 1-up.
Okay. And is that the 1-up that they said they collected? Like in on Discord, I found that it that one taser did a 454.03, but collected a 1-up.
I don't know because yeah, I don't know what
I just wanted to see if you knew. That's all.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, actually, you want to jump there. And then you also want to jump. A required jump is jump for that second time. That'll get you past a wall, I think it is.
Yep, it's a 3-block high wall.
And then you also want to jump here. That's a required jump.
Yep, you did it about as early as you can.
And then you also want to jump somewhere around here. I think you can do it a little later and still get it. Just a tiny bit.
You these jumps have a 10-frame window if I remember correctly.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And then you want to jump at some point in this area. And then jump. A good way to do it for consistency is do it on the end of this beat. It would be beat 1. The end of beat 1. I do it in between the 1 and the and in this task.
Type here to type F.
Yeah, the one and is about right, because if you do it any earlier, you end up hitting that piranha plant.
Right. So, and then you want to jump a few times there.
Recent
and
rec
then,
stop ABI anime. Recent rec play move stop movie S. FU2.
there are a few places you can jump here.
Type here.
You're jumping onto the third step right now. That was
Close.
almost it.
Ah.
There you go.
It's somewhat hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to time, especially blind.
Yeah. You could slow down and, do it much safer. Like, you could... Like, if you're doing this blind, even this would be acceptable.
Right.
Acceptable, but obviously slow.
Right.
But that is optimal.
Right.
Unless you do FPG,
FU.
which no blind person is probably ever going to do that in a run. So you do a similar thing, stock folder. You want to jump around here. There is a little bit of a window.
Right,
Not-
but depending on when you jump, that changes the jump height you need as well.
Right. Which is a reason why no one's going to do it if you're blind. I may, at some point, for like an April Fool's thing, I may attempt it. But, like, at some point. But no one is going to, do it seriously. You know?
Right. You should go for 8-3 sometime though.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is
because
that easier than 4-1?
well, for the sock folder you can do a full jump, although you do require a frame perfect jump earlier in the levels, so
That seems hard too. I've never done 4-1 FPG.
yeah, so with 8-3 we'll get to 8-3.
Right. But anyway, from that jump, you want to release B like 1-1, and then jump the second frame possible. And again, that huge window. And there, I actually do slow PG, which we talked about a little earlier, but I do it because Cosmic did it in his 455-646.
Right.
So I'm going to fast forward to 4-2. Okay, here's where the absolute craziness begins. So, I'll let you explain most of this.
Okay, so go a bit further so that you're in the underground section.
Okay.
So
Okay.
stop right here. So right now you're in the air, but basically on the ground, while you're holding right plus B, for one frame, you want to release right, or you can press down for one frame while holding right.
Right,
And
either of
basically
those
that
lose
sets you up.
I'm sorry, what was that?
And basically doing that sets you up for the 11 pixel bump further on.
Yeah. And I'll let you know when that is. You want here. You want to bop one enemy, unless two could work.
2 can if you jump early.
Right. Okay. You want to is now you want to find a frame where you can actually okay. On the frame that the music ends, you want to release right for one frame. This is after the one frame right release on the ground, by the way. This is for the bump. So,
Right.
Release right. On the next frame, hit left. And you can hold B during this, by the way. On the next frame, hit A. And then right plus A. And you want to hold right and A for...
Let me just get that open.
I think like 18 frames or something.
I
19?
will... I...
And by the way, just so you know, I think you should include the frame...
Yeah, 18 frames.
Did you subtract again, or...
No... yes, I did. So 19 frames.
That messed me up quite a few times.
Yeah, I subtracted frame counts, but I didn't count the frame that you actually start on.
But, disregard the first thing, it's 19.
Yep, 19 frames.
And then after that, you want to jump on the frame that the... so you know how in the music, the way it works is you have one note that starts on one frame and then the next note starts the next frame. You may not know that, but that's how it goes. And you want to start hitting A and do a full jump on the second C that starts. And that is also the second frame that you can jump and hit the vine. And you want it to be a full jump. So I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to pause the recording again.
When up pause recording. F.
Okay, so we're back. So, yeah, second frame that you can jump and still hit the vine. You want to do a full jump. And then the first frame that you can jump, you want to hold right and B for 2 frames, release right for a frame, basically doing the bump setup again, but this time, if I remember correctly, it is to set up for the wall jump, right?
Yep, for the pipe entry.
Yeah.
And this jump is for 17 frames.
Yes. Okay. So I release A. And then
Then the first frame possible to jump, you want a full jump.
yeah. And if you were to advance any more, you wouldn't be able to jump. So it's a frame perfect jump.
Yep.
And so on the first frame you can, you want to do a 1 frame jump. And again, this is frame perfect, if I'm correct.
Any later, you won't jump at all. Any earlier, you won't jump at all.
So yeah. Okay. So here, you want to hold right for 16 frames. Release right. And just hold B or nothing for 4 frames. And then hold down. Or press down for pipe entry. And if you did everything right, this should send you to the warp zone area, and you will hear the above ground theme song. Now, there are a few things you can do here.
Open
I'm
recent.
going to do a few of them
Open recent
from
script desktop movie S.
least
F-U.
swag to quite a bit. Okay?
Okay.
And pardon me if I mess up several times, because I am blind and can't see.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, that was close. Holy cow, second try, let's go.
Go.
Oh, recency. F-U.
And
Oh,
then
recent rec desktop movie S. F-U.
Just a bit early.
a little late, but that's the general idea.
F-U.
Right.
F.
And that's the most swag that I think one would go for.
Yeah.
Unless maybe almost.
No, you didn't get up the stairs there. But yeah, especially blind, that would mess up your rhythm too. You jumped a bit early on the stairs again. Again, you're landing on the 4th stair, and then you're jumping off it. You jumped a little early again.
Let's just
Oh,
not.
receipt. F-U.
Let's just not do that.
Yep.
This is the TAS again. So yeah. So we saved the lightning 2 frame rule. I mean, lightning 4-2 frame rule. So I actually saved the lightning 4-2 from after pipe entry. You could say that, right?
Yep.
So that's cool. But
Yeah,
it's,
that's Pog.
using FCEUX, which actually has some lag.
Yeah, I think it has the most lag of the commonly used emulators for speedrunning.
Right. Um, it's like, dun-dun, at least for
Yep.
me.
Yep. I think I actually was talking to someone.
I wish there was a way
So
to, lower the sound latency so that, because right now, what happens is,
yeah, I think sound latency is also a bit more common than like video latency.
because right now, I'm going to show you two things. The first sound you hear will be like at the time I'm trying to do it.
Volume slider.
That'll be the sound. Did you hear that?
Yep.
And then that sound. Did you hear it?
Yep.
That'll be at the time I actually, hear it. You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like that. Somewhere around there.
Yep.
Even when playing on Nestopia, it's like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I wish there were a way to change that. Like, even at the lowest sound latency setting in Nestopia, it's still like that.
Yeah, sound latency is a lot harder to deal with than video latency.
Is it possible, even?
I don't know. I never really looked into it because most of the time I have my volume turned very low.
I keep my volume rather high, because I need to be able to hear it.
Yeah.
F-
Okay, so here, um, okay, once you get up the stairs, you want to do a frame. I mean, if you jump earlier, you won't be able to go to World 8. If you jump any later, you will be able to, but you,
Can jump a frame or two late. It just makes it harder to get a perfect warp zone, which is what you need with this speed entering.
and then for this jump, you do a full jump with down plus right. And about there, I think, you release down right and
So
start
you don't
pressing
actually
left.
need to you don't actually need to hold down plus right there. You can just hold right. You don't need to hold down plus right.
Okay. And then you start holding left around here, right? Left, I mean. Am I getting this correct?
That's correct.
And then there are a few places you can jump. But you want to jump the second time around there or a little later.
Right, and enter the pipe on the first frame you can.
Right. Okay. So 8-1 uses plate 1. And basically how you do that is you start out with a perfect fast accel. And the way you do that is on the first frame that you can control Mario, you press left, and you can actually start holding left before that, but you want to release left on the next frame while holding B for both of those frames. And then the next frame, hold right B and A, and then release on the next frame. Yes, sounds hard. And it is hard.
Yep. It was the latest trick added to the any percent speedrun.
And then for this level, I'd recommend, if you're tassing it after the Fast Excel and hitting the Beetle, I'd recommend using the SMB bot Lewis script. If you're blind, you know?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I kind of wish there was, another a way to, make a full-blown optimization script that could help out with, FPG. Mr. Wint did make something like that, but it was not meant to be easy to use.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You'd have to use like terminals.
And I don't know how to use Python at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
But in FCEUX, you just run the Lewis script and it's good.
Yep.
And this was actually, some of it was done by SMB bot.
Right, because basically all it does is go to the right and don't die, right?
Yeah. Okay, so if you jump late enough, you can avoid doing a pipe jump there. Or I think it's a pipe jump.
Yep, it is.
But here, you get your first pipe jump, right?
Yep.
And those are pretty hard. I've only gotten past this part once.
Yeah, so
Ever.
Depending on coin toss, I believe it's either a 2 or 3 frame window at best. Depending on coin toss, I believe it's a 2 or 3 frame window.
What's coin toss?
So basically, depending on the frame that you enter 8-1, the game only checks for hit detection by enemies every other frame. So if you get lucky, you can jump a frame later, and the game won't recognize that the plant is hitting you. But depending on the frame you enter the level, that plant could hit you if you jumped on the exact same frame.
Oof. Sounds rough.
Yeah. So the window for pipe jumps changes based on the frame that you entered the level.
Right, but in this case, if you're entering on this exact frame rule, frame.
I don't know the exact window for even frames, unfortunately.
That's fine. We don't really need to know that in depth, but we're going in depth as much as we can.
Yep.
And there's another pipe jump. But you don't want to make it a full jump. I mean, you can, probably, but it just makes it quite a bit harder to do this next part.
Yeah, you want to do a shorter jump. You don't want to do a flick jump, though. Because if you do a flick jump, you can land on top of an enemy, and that will screw up some other parts of the level.
Right. Oh, and at some point throughout the at some point in the level, you want to press down and right for 2 frames. This will set up your subpixels so that FPG will work.
Right, you want to lose 2 subpixels. Otherwise, you land on top of the flagpole glitch block.
Right, instead of inside it.
Right.
So
Task new window.
hitting those 2 enemies makes it much easier to get past that part, as I've heard.
Right,
I've
because
I've
in the
never.
part right after it, when you hit those 2 enemies, you only end up getting 2 enemies. If you don't hit those first 2, you end up with 3, and that makes it so that you have to do a either 1 frame or 2 frame jump, window jump, in order to get past that section. If you don't hit those 2 enemies beforehand.
Right. Can you explain those jumps?
So basically what you do is, I don't know the rhythm for it.
Dun, dun, dun. Around that.
Yeah, that'd
Somewhere
be
around
about
there.
right. Yeah, so after hitting those first 2 enemies, you want to jump. You jump again, but smaller. Just enough so that you don't hit an enemy there. And then you jump again. And that gets you into a section where you're in a box with a Koopa. And then basically you want to run on the ground for a bit and then jump again. And that'll get you out of that box with the Koopa.
And then we come into a pretty easy section, in my opinion, until the star block,
Right.
where it all depends on judges. And
Well, actually, for plate 1...
plate 1, it doesn't.
Yeah, for plate 1, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if you were to not do the fast excel and, not go for plate 1, judges would play a part in this.
Right.
And
Which
basically
is-
the way that judges worked is if you hit the beetle and something happens, you'll know you got either good or bad judges. And basically that means that, if you get good judges, you can just hit the star block and you can go through the level and get the best time with that strategy. If you get bad judges, you'll have to hit it on the first frame.
Although, so what he's talking about is the first beetle on the level. If you hit it, depending on the judges, you will either see a pixel or you won't. And if you don't see the pixel, then, sometimes you can get what looks like bad judges and it'll still be good judges. Depending on the frame that you enter the level. You only get bad judges once every 4 frames.
Right.
Properties prop. F.
So I just do it on the first frame because why not?
Right.
Okay, so that jump with the 2 coins that I got, that one is to avoid, I think it's a pit.
Yep, there's a pit there.
And you want to get past that pit.
Killing and clickable. It could be up. No. Kill. F.
So there's another pipe jump. Right?
Yep, that's another pipe jump right there.
And then there's actually a way you can do 2 fast
Cheats.
jumps and still
F you.
get to this section in time. Like that speed, you know?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different rhythms that you can use. It's basically like the stairs at the end of 4-1, except it doesn't lead to a flagpole, it's just in the middle of the level.
Right. You will know you got to the next section when you hear some coins. At least one.
Right.
Like that.
Secretly
Yeah,
put this as your.
And the next part, you want the next part is pretty tricky. You want to
So
do a
there's
few
two more
jumps.
pits there.
What was that?
Yeah, so there's 2 more pits. They're right close to each other.
Right, and you need to jump at a time when the easiest way to do it is if you jump late enough, you can get 2 coins and avoid both pits.
Right. Well, that's probably the easiest way blind. If you can see, it's probably easier to do a small jump,
Why?
land on the middle pillar, and then jump again.
Why are you saying that?
Um, just because you have a larger window of frames to do it.
Right. It just seems harder
Yeah,
to do
so
it
if
that
you're
way.
blind, it's harder to do because you have to time it in a rhythm if you were to do that.
And
And it's like,
while rhythms can be rather easy, this one's just awkward.
yeah, it's like doot doot. So it's like really spaced out and weird.
That's for this one, actually. Dun, dun, dun. However, for the other one that you were saying, it's dun, 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 dun. You know?
Yeah, that's about it. Yep.
It's rather awkward. It's
Yeah, I'm bad with rhythms.
uh I do it in this task though.
Yep.
And then here you have 2 more pits close together. And then here, can you explain what I did?
So basically, what he did was there is a set of 3 Koopas and a pipe, and they're really close together. So what you want to do is you want to land as soon as you can after the 3 Koopas, and then jump as soon as you can. That way you avoid hitting the plant that's right after those Koopas. When I was going for sub 5, I used to lose like a lot of runs to that because it is like a really tight window to get past there without slowing down.
Right. And then here you do a few jumps, and for the last jump before FPG, I think it can either be a 1 or 2 framer, right?
It can be a 1 framer, 2 framer, 3 framer, 4 framer. It depends on where you choose to jump.
Right.
But that has no effect on the actual FPG itself.
Right.
That only affects being in line for it.
Right. And then for the FPG, there's no full jump. It's a top step, which is quite a bit harder.
Right.
But you still do the 4 frames of left.
You do have less leeway though on the pole inputs.
Right.
In 1-1 and 4-1, sometimes you can hold left the whole way through and be fine. But for plate 1, you have to do you have to let go of left the same frame you jump.
Right.
So it's a bit tighter than the other FPGs.
Okay, now we move on to one that I need help explaining. Another one.
Yep.
This is TAS I 2. Okay,
So
that part.
So basically, that's another set of stairs, and what he does is he lands on the second step up from the bottom, jumps, and then he has to jump again high enough so that so at the top of the screen there's an enemy that throws spinies down, and if you
Lakitu.
jump Lakitu, yeah, and if you jump low, he'll throw an extra spiny, which is another enemy. And if you want to jump high enough that spiny doesn't spawn, and that's important for setting you up for the bullet shot at the end of the level, which is how you do bullet bill glitch.
Right. You may have heard, if you've watched Darbian's runs, you will hear him say, "That's the shot." Except the shot with this, it's going to be quite a bit earlier.
Yeah, it's a lot faster than that shot. And this is why we waited so long, or not so long. It was only 4 frame rules, but that's why he waited for 84 frames at the start,
Yeah.
so that here we would be set up on a frame rule where the bullet bill shoots as early as possible.
Right, so that you can, do the glitch and save the TAS frame rule.
Right.
So I'm going to actually mute myself for a little bit. And when I pause, can you explain it
Sure.
again? Okay.
Noise suppress. Kick F.
So in that section, there are several Koopas. Basically, you just want to jump over those and not hit anything up to this point in the level. But after this point in the level, there is another Koopa, and basically you'll hear a bullet bill shoot before you get to that Koopa. And after you hear that bill shoot, you want to land on the ground and keep going and bop a Koopa right there. And that is a 2-frame window, and that makes it so that the bill at the end of the level will fire properly. So you have to hit that Koopa at an angle, and then you want to hit nothing else for the rest of the level unless you want to do some swaggy things and hit a mushroom block. Which he does here. He hits the mushroom block.
Yeah. I do that because there was a run that had that. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, a lot of runners do it for swag.
Right. So coming up, we have this part.
Right, so this is an area where basically you want to continue doing what you were doing before and just keep jumping and not hitting anything whatsoever. And then what you want to do is you want to do a frame perfect jump with a frame perfect jump height to land on the very edge of a block before the pipe. And then on the frame you jump, you want to start holding left.
Okay, that we're getting into that part coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, right here. This is where
This
you have
is
to
the
do
frame perfect jump height.
Yeah.
And it
basically
depends
that
on the
makes
frame that you start your jump. But here, on the frame before you, before the music starts again, that frame you want to start hitting A. And
And
another
holding left.
frame perfect jump height. Oh, and left. Yes. Thank you. And you want to jump to the height where if you were to not jump again, you would hit an enemy. You want to jump to that height and then figure out where to press right so that you can jump on the frame you land and not hit an enemy.
Right.
So right there.
And that basically makes it so that you get the bullet bill to shoot on the first frame possible. So after that, you just keep running and not hitting any enemies. It's pretty tight in this section. I'd imagine to time if you're blind, because you'd have to use music cues. Maybe you want to describe what music cues you used?
I actually didn't really use music cues in this section, but I think you can jump on beat 1. I jumped a little earlier than that.
Right, and that way you don't hit any enemies and you make it to the next section.
And then
You do a small jump. And then a bigger jump up to 5 stairs, which is like the halfway point on a staircase. You do another jump.
this time on the end of beat 4. Okay. The bill should start firing on 4. If you advance 5 frames, you will hear the snare sound, the 8-bit snare sound. Okay.
Okay. And then you keep going and land on the second stair up on the staircase. After turning around.
Actually, I was wrong. It's not the snare, it's the cymbal. Hi-hat. Okay. I'm going to slow it down for this part. Because this is pretty tricky.
Yeah. So, I don't know how to describe the frame that you have to jump with the bill. Would you have a better way of describing that?
We have a conversation on Discord about it. If you can, pull that up.
Well, what I basically did was I just, I found the relative times between the jumps and then told you to just keep adding frames before your first jump until it worked. So that isn't super useful to,
Right, I don't know how to explain it. Sorry for the background if you're hearing anything.
It's not too noticeable. It's just a bit of fan noise, it sounds like.
And something.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe bullet section.
Me neither. But just me neither, except maybe just, play around with it and see if it works.
Right. What I can say is that the off of the top, you want to do a 3-frame jump. And that will make it so that your Y positioning is good enough that when you hit the bill, you can get bullet bill glitch on the very first frame possible. But
Right.
that's all I can really say. I don't really know what else to say there.
You have 0 frames to spare for the frame rule.
So you have
If
to
I'm
do it on the
correct.
very first frame possible.
Right. Okay, 8-3. for this part, I don't know of any music cues or anything like that. If you're TASing this, just use SMB bot, but don't let it do left right.
What you do
'Cause
want
it's
to do is hit the Koopa there, though. You
Yeah.
need to do that in order to make it so that the Hammer Brothers do what you want later in the level.
Yeah. I hit those because you kind of have to with this.
Yeah, to get them out of the way without dying.
Okay, coming up here. Actually, can you explain what happened there? So that blind TASers of the future can do this?
So what you need to do here is basically there's a 4-block high wall. And you need to jump on top of that and then jump again. Not a full jump, but high. That way, basically, there's 3 platforms, and you want to land on the very top one.
Okay, actually,
So,
there's a second jump before that. So there are some.
that was the one that I was talking about, where you don't necessarily want that to be a full jump, but you do want it to be a pretty big jump. And that way you land on the very top platform.
Okay. Okay, pardon me for again. There may be sounds in the background. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no problem.
Other than the fan noise, I mean.
Okay. But then, once you land on that top platform, you have to do a frame perfect jump. Do you want to describe the sound for that?
So
Because
here or there? That jump?
so there you're in the air again. So right now you're on the top platform.
This jump right here?
Yep, that's the frame perfect jump.
Okay, so this one I can give a sound for. So you hear the G, and then you hear the E flat and F sharp join in on the same frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the fifth frame of that, you want to start holding A, and you want it to be a full jump, but you want to release B part way through it.
Right.
And then there will be a few frames where you land, but you want to, again, not hold B, and you will fall even more after that. And during that fall, you want to hold B.
Right, so you can probably give a sound cue for that, because it's a pretty big window there. After you fall off.
So you can... I'd suggest release B there. Or have I landed yet?
No, you haven't.
So release B somewhere around the end of beat 4. Am I still on the ground?
No, you're still in the air.
Did I land, though, before?
Well, you jumped off the top platform, but you haven't landed yet.
So you see I kind of land twice.
Right, so so you haven't landed yet at all. Keep going. Keep going.
I haven't even landed once.
Nope. Okay, so now you've landed, but keep not holding B. So you want to not hold B until after you fall all the way off of that one. So you repressed B while you were still on the pipe, it looked like.
How did that still work?
You might have done it on the very last frame, and I just didn't, and it looked like you did it while I was on it. So you might have just done it on like the first frame possible.
Am I holding B?
Nope,
And now?
you are.
Okay, so
And
you want to start holding B on the end of beat 3.
Uh,
Not the end. On beat 3 itself.
okay. I don't know the beats for it.
Right, but you
So-
start... You release B on... I'd
You
suggest
release
the end
B
of beat...
anytime after the first jump works.
Right. But I'd suggest you start holding B again on the end of beat 3 in the beat.
Right.
But
So then
it
keep going?
can't be any earlier than that, but it can be a little later.
Yeah, because
But
you're
somewhere
you're
around
falling
there.
for quite a while.
And then here you want to do jumps to get past these hammer bros. I do a few swag jumps there.
Yeah, and bop a few hammer bros.
Right. And here we get to a pretty tricky section.
Right. So here, you want to do a small jump onto a set of 2 blocks, and then off of that set of 2 blocks, you can do a full jump, and then you do the same thing
Sock
that you
folder
did in
setup,
1-1.
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And then the same pull inputs as everywhere else.
yeah. There is that large window that you get for sock folder this time.
Right.
Okay. So that's 8-3 done. Now, part of the reason why we slowed down is to set up for FPG, but we were also trying to find a setup that slowed us down enough to where there's a 2 as the last digit on the timer for the end of the level. Because if you were to play everything perfectly, even with FPG, you would get a 3 on the timer, which wastes 2 frame rules, because you get 3 fireworks.
Right, and this setup in particular was found by Kriller37.
Yes. So... here-
I didn't mention this earlier, but Nifsky was the one who found the ultra fast setup for Lightning 4.2, where you get where you do no fast excels. He was the one who found that setup.
Yeah. For coin block?
So I found the coin block bump setup, but he
Is that
found
the
the
one that
way
I
to
did,
get
or-
optimal into warp zone.
Which one did I do? Nifsky's setup?
Yeah, Nifsky's setup. So it's the same coin block setup as mine, but basically the setup where you get into where you do the wall jump to be optimal setup for your subpixels and subspeed. He found that setup.
The 16 for down? That part?
Yeah, that part.
What
Which
was it
is,
before that?
Before that, it was basically just do basically any wiggle, or there were other setups too where you could write release, but they weren't as fast. So generally, you would still need a fast Excel before his setup was found.
Right. So in 8.4, so you know how I said that perfect fast Excel was left plus B, B only, and then right plus B plus A?
Right.
In 8.4, that changes.
Well,
For the
only
first
for
room.
the first room.
Yeah. For the first room, the perfect fast Excel is left plus B and then right B and A. And you still want to do it for one frame.
Right.
And then you want to do, for TFA, you want to do a write release. You want to do a write release for both of them, but you want to do a write release from, I think it's like frames 18 to 22 or something like that.
It's about a
one
six-frame
frame.
window for the TAS I method.
Right. Like a
And then for
six
the
frame.
FFA method,
It's
it's only a
one
two-frame window, and it's
two frame,
right
yeah.
before. And it's right before you do the RLR for the falling fast Excel.
RLR meaning you hold or press right for one frame and then left for one frame and then right for
The next
however
one.
long it is.
Yeah. So basically,
Which I don't know
RLR
how
means
anyone can do that.
Lakuki's really good at RLR.
I don't know how to do that. Like,
Yeah, you have to go really fast, and Nifsky's pretty good at it too.
I want to get good at it.
It's really hard to get RLR consistently. For 8B first room, they actually do a different grip that makes the right release and the RLR easier.
Wow.
So they actually hold the controller differently.
It's that hard.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, what they do is they hold right and B with one finger, and then use another finger to just flick left. And basically, if you flick left lightly, you end up getting a frame of nothing. And if you flick left hard, you get a frame of left. So for the FFA, what they do is they hold right and B with one hand, and then use two fingers. One for a lighter swipe to get a frame of nothing, and then a second one right after it for the RLR.
Wow. That is insane.
Yeah. It's
I'll never
pretty
be able
crazy.
to do that, actually.
It's pretty crazy that it's like even possible for humans.
It was thought to be impossible, I think.
Yeah, for a long time. And for a long time, it was also theorized to be keyboard only, but now it's actually easier on controller.
Why keyboard only, though?
Because it used to be because you can change your keybinds easily. As we're on controller, it's like you're stuck with the positioning that it's left with. So it was like, how do you do those inputs with that layout? But now it's actually easier on controller because they kind
The
of figured
grip.
out a method that works. The method was found by 3Creepio, and then the method for the first Fast Excel was kind of improved a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's just first
Running
room.
up.
And then TFA is just 6 frame window, and for
King of
and what you do for that. Give me one moment.
palette configuration.
Okay,
Ah,
F
I accidentally went into palette configuration.
no problem.
Okay. So. So, for that, for regular 8B, It is
Oh, recent.
with
FU
FFA.
2.3. Oh, recent record move. Play move. Stop movie. FU 2.
You write release on frame 20, not frame 23, but 23 frames. You wait 23 frames and then write release on the 24th for one frame. Press for one, left for one, right for one.
Right for one frame.
And then you gotta wait a while.
And then you have a 2-frame window to jump off the bottom step, I believe.
I'm going to see if I can get 8B first room from after that jump. It would be insane, right?
Right.
It's just a one attempt thing.
Yep. You entered the pipe a bit late.
2 attempts, actually.
3.
You know what? Let's not count attempts. Let's just go for it a few more times.
Okay.
I keep jumping early there.
I think you're jumping late. Yeah, you're jumping late. You're walking off onto the pit of lava. That was
8A,
almost it.
8A, 8A.
Yep.
Again.
Yep. The pipe entry for 8B is also tighter.
I got it. Dude. 8B from after FFA.
PogChamp.
That is insane.
So then, oh man, and then you have
Wall jump room.
another FFA.
Yeah.
Open.
But this
Recent
time
Z.
it's imperfect FFA, not perfect.
Right. I'll wait for you to go to that part.
Okay. Okay. So you do normal fast excel. And you land and you wait a few more frames, and then you release right for a frame.
Well, so for FFA, there are 3 inputs that work. Right, left, right. Nothing left, right. And right, left, nothing, right. And, all 3 are fast, but it makes it easier to get the
Wall
fastest
jump.
possible frame if you get an unoptimal FFA, because basically for an optimal wall jump, you want to be as far to the left as possible. And by getting a less fast FFA, it becomes easier to get as far to the left as possible because you do a faster wiggle, which is easier to time than a slower one.
Right. But I think you have a 1 frame window to do that first jump.
No, you have more than 1 frame for that.
And then you don't want to hit the first enemy.
Yep, you want to hit no enemies.
No enemies here. Because if you hit an enemy, what'll happen is you'll spawn a piranha plant on the pipe you're trying to go down, it'll make it impossible to do it
Right.
without waiting, at least.
Right, and that's slow.
And that's obviously slow. So, no enemies. And then, can you explain the wall jump?
So there's a bunch of different wiggles that work for this, but if you do one of the two on optimal FFAs, you need to lose roughly 4 or 5 subpixels, which can be done with a bunch of different wiggles, where basically you do right, left, nothing, nothing, right, or nothing left, nothing, right, or anything like that really will work for the most part. And basically all that does is it makes it so that you're as far to the left as needed for an optimal wall jump.
And then, what you want to do is you jump, you do a backwards jump, which is left and then right A, or nothing right A. I mean, left A, right A.
Right, but you can you want to hold left a little longer than that most of the time,
Right.
or do more frames of nothing, because you need to lose more subpixels than just RLR plus A. But after that, what you want to do is you'll only have a 1 frame window to jump off of the wall.
If you jumped high enough.
Right. So there is a few frame window for the jump up to the wall, but the jump off of the wall is frame perfect.
Right. Because, and that is the wall jump. When Mario's foot, what is described as catches.
Right. It basically goes a little bit inside of the wall, but only for 1 frame.
Right.
And
but
if you
not
jump
like
on
a
that
clip.
1 frame, you jump.
Right. You do a wall jump, basically.
Right.
A good way to, like, the real life kind of equivalent of that would be like, you jump up to a wall, and then you kind of hit the wall for a little bit, but like your foot kind of goes forward and hits it, but then you jump to the top, like you jump again.
Right, but the way that it works in this would be like your foot goes inside the wall a little bit, and that lets you jump again. But you have a very small amount of time, only 1 frame, that you can actually jump
With
before
this.
the wall basically pushes you out.
Right. And that gets 8D, right?
Yep, 8D into turnaround.
And then turnaround. Oh boy, can you explain this?
Yeah, sure. So basically you do what you did for FFA, but the RLR, or the RLR, you do that 1 frame earlier, and you do it perfectly. So you do right, left, right plus A, and you want that jump to be a full jump.
Right. That gives you consistent subspeed.
Right, because depending on your jump height, you can actually end up with different subspeed values, and that messes up what you need to do for the turnaround part.
Right. And then I'm actually going to do a frame advance. Is that needed just yet?
It hasn't happened yet. Now it is.
Okay.
So I don't know how to describe this in like a way for people who are blind, but basically what you want to do is you want to do the inputs right, left, and then jump.
So
And
right,
then,
left, A.
yep, and no other D-pad inputs after that until you need to slow down. So, go to that part.
More.
Keep going. It looks like you repressed right.
Uh,
Like you're holding right now.
I did not mean to do that. I don't know why I did that. It doesn't change anything though. It's just
Okay.
easier to. You can still get frame 63.
Yeah, but your subspeed might be different.
Right.
If you're holding right. And you need like only 2 subspeed values work for it. But your task was the perfect speed, so you did get perfect, so
And then,
basically you have to do a frame perfect left press there. And basically that'll make it so that you stop on the very first pixel possible while still going far enough that the game takes you to the right area.
and normally, if you were to, uh, turn around and go back to that pipe, wouldn't you start at the very beginning of 8-4?
Yes, it takes you back to the beginning of 8.4 unless you scroll the screen far enough to trigger a second zone.
Yeah, and that is, again, known as a wrong warp. It's the same but opposite idea compared to 4-2.
Right. So then, once you come to a full stop, there's several inputs that work, but, basically you want to press right and jump on the first frame where Mario doesn't just fly to the right.
And that is, let's see here.
Yep. And then there are several
20.
D-pad inputs that work. You can do right
Picking up dot.
A,
F.
nothing, left, or something like that. Or you can do right plus A left. That also works for frame 63.
I think I may have done the second one of those.
Yeah, that's what I told you to do because it's easier to describe. And basically you want to do a 1-framer as part of that jump. And then the second frame possible you can on the way back, you want to jump again. And then you want to go down the pipe on the first frame possible.
Right, and you want to search for the optimal jump height.
Right.
If you're TASing this, there's no way someone's getting this RTA as a blind person.
Yeah.
And then the water section is mostly what I've learned to do.
Yeah, so you're probably better off describing that part.
Okay, yeah, so the water section, I have a certain rhythm. Okay, so what I did there, so you swim, this is in, I believe it's in 6-8, for the time signature, and, yeah, something like that. Forget I said anything about the time signature. It could be wrong. But anyway, you want to Jump, or swim. Swim. And there are a few ways you can go about this level, but the easiest is to do what I do. So, on that last swim, I release right, because you don't want... you're actually faster when you don't hold right when you, go to the bottom. It's actually a little faster. And then I repress right on that swim. And then you will know if you got perfect water by the first frame of the pipe sound being the frame before the snare drum sound. So that's the water room. Now, so in this room, you do another FFA. Hit that last enemy. And then if you did everything right, you should be able to jump somewhat early and hit the X, and the run will be over. But if you're blind, you'll just have to do some searching for what works.
Right.
And just so you know, this run is a 4:54.265 RTA timing. So, yeah, that was super in-depth. So, I guess now it's time for some Q&A.
I mean, I don't know. I think we covered pretty much everything
Okay,
that people could be wondering. I mean, maybe you could go over like your setup for tassing blind.
Okay, so what I generally do, it's a lot of memorization, like for the level layouts and stuff. But I'm going to TAS top clip. I've tasked it quite a few times, but this will show you my basic TAS setup. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
And you'll actually get to see this for the first time. Probably.
Okay. You should Actually, you won't be able to show that because you don't have it set up in OBS.
What do you mean?
Because you need to do a desktop capture in order to show what you're doing.
What do you mean?
Because this capture is just of your game.
What does the desktop capture do?
So basically, it'll let people see like do you TAS only using Frame Advance, or
Yeah.
do you use like TAS Editor?
I don't use TAS Editor. That's inaccessible.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that should be good then.
Desktop capture
You should be fine with just game capture then.
or window capture, because that's what it's on now.
Yeah, you're good then.
Okay. You know what? Actually, which one do you think would be the best to see me TAS?
So
one,
desktop
two-
capture just means that it shows your entire screen.
No, I mean like, would you want to see me TAS 1-2 or 4-2? Which one would be more fun to see? The way I TAS.
Top clip probably.
Okay.
Oh, record.
Sure.
So can you see? It's in the record a movie.
Yep. That won't show up in the OBS, but I can see it.
Okay, so I'm naming this 4-2 top clip TAS demonstration.
Demonstration read now. FU error dialog error opening movie output file. 4-2 top clip TAS demonstration FM2 OK ma. FU 2.3.0 record input dials it. Rest now button file. Camo author. OK pre FU error dialog error opening movie.
Okay, that's weird.
I don't know. I've always just used TAS
Open.
editor,
3CF.
so I don't know how FCUX really works for that.
Record input dials it. Rest now. FU error dialog error opening move. FU 2.
Let's try this way.
Receipt. King of Doms, pause recording.
I don't want to mess up 8-4 though.
Right. Or maybe you can just sort of
Actually, I have an idea.
Play move in 0, move in 0, move in 2 frame, move in 2, move in 6, move in 5, move in 4, move in 405, move in 42 TRYF, move in 42 NFM2, move in 42 human theory, move in 42 current tracks, BS mic trap, move in 42 clip FM2. FU.
Okay, that's a little too far in.
Move in 1 2, move in 1, move in 405, move in 42 current track, move in 41 FM, move in 42 clip FM, move in 42 NF. English.
Oh, that's why. I know why.
Receipt.
I had switched to another keyboard layout, which means I was typing a slash instead of a dash or something, and you can't have a slash.
Oh, okay.
That's what was happening. Yes, confirmed. Sorry for that. Okay, so here, I'm going to show you everything I do for Top Clip. And I'm not going to be adding too much entertainment. Okay, so here I'm just searching for the last frame.
You kind of just frame advance until you find something that, like, inputs that work. So is it a lot of, like, trial and error?
Yeah, basically. You know what? I'll just do it this way then. And then here...
Okay, so you use RamWatch.
Yeah, I open RamWatch, and...
And basically you look at your exposition to tell if you got it right?
Yeah, and so... Now I know I have 132 XPOS.
You actually got the frame perfect jump in down the coin block. You have to do a small jump there to get past the coin block, so you're hitting the coin block. Yeah, you hit the coin block there, the top one. Because after the Koopas, you have to... There you go.
Let's see.
There you go, you're good now.
I'll get this.
So it's a lot of just like, basically just figuring out what works.
Yeah. Exactly.
By going frame by frame and just trying different inputs.
Yeah, and then, like, for this part, just, listening for what happens. And then...
I know what you mean, yeah. I think you're getting unlucky with subspeed or subpixels.
Actually, so what I do in this case is I have a kind of setup, not really setup, but I do some, craziness. Here's what I do. Wait, I LR'd.
There you go.
And you know what? Just for the heck of it.
Yeah, so that's insightful to kind of how your process for tasking.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to do the LR this time.
For the TAS Fast Excel.
Yeah.
You save stated after hitting a stair block beforehand. Yeah, so right now, that save state, you're actually in the middle of the, nope. Nope. There you go.
So what I do here
is you basically figure out the optimal time or the earliest point where you can press down.
and then what I also do is I like to see how many frames behind perfect I am for the warp zone. In this case, I am 1 frame behind perfect.
Okay.
And now to play it back. Ready?
Yep.
This is what I just tasked. This is my demo.
It's interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Any other questions before I end this?
Not really. I should be getting to bed soon.
Yeah, me too. Well, thank you all for watching. And I'll see you next time.
Stop, pause, profit. Audit scene to break and stop recording.